Welcome to our weekly Forex market analysis call, and we are preparing for July 24th to July 28th, not June 28th, July 28th, 2017. Before we get started, just a quick disclaimer. This is for educational purposes only. Trading is a risky business, so please be careful with your money. Markets are volatile, especially now that things are changing in terms of the central banks, what their stance is, as well as it's summer trading. So we tend to see less liquidity in the market. So conditions are a little bit risky. So please be careful with your money. If you have questions about your individual investment needs, I recommend you talk to your investment advisor. Yes, Greg, Euro Aussie was a great trade. We'll cover that. We'll take a look at that today. Thanks for the feedback. Yes, we took that trade in the trade room as well. So before we get into the charts, let's go take a look. Forex factories. So the first thing you want to look at when we get started is, of course, the news that's coming out for this week, because news will drive the markets. So in terms of our Monday here, we have PMI numbers. So PMI numbers are generally the leading indicators. So we do want to pay attention to them. We have PMI numbers out of the Eurozone, and then also for the US. So right now, currently, we are seeing a divergence in monetary policy between different central banks, and central banks are turning more hawkish in terms of their monetary policy. So what that means for us is there are multiple central banks, Bank of Canada, Bank of England, and Bank of RBA, Reserve Bank of Australia. These are all bullish. Draghi for ECB was not as bullish. He was actually dovish. But one thing that helped euro and will continue to help euro, I'm actually expecting euro to go up, euro dollar, but there may be a pullback before it starts going up. So overall, though, from fundamental perspective, the bias for all these different currencies that we just talked about, the central banks are turning hawkish as a result. Fundamentally, they are more hawkish, but we have seen a big move up. So some of these we can see pullbacks for. So keep that in mind. So what that now tying these numbers with the central banks, what we have to look out for is if the data supports what the central bank is doing. So for example, the Fed, if our data for North America keeps on coming as positive, it will support Fed in doing the last, the rate hike. That was supposed to happen in September. But if the data does not come out in line with expectations, then the market will expect the Fed to not raise interest rates in September, and instead kind of postpone that for later in the year, and that will then be negative. So we have to watch the data a little bit more carefully now to see if this changing central bank stance is supported by the data. So that's why the data becomes a little bit more important, just because the fundamentals are changing. For the last 10 years, we have not seen interest rate hikes. It has been an expansionary monetary policy. So now we are in that change environment. Okay, so Tuesday, we have consumer confidence number for the US. Again, very important number, so we'll have to watch out for that. We have CPI. CPI is the inflation number. This will be very important because from central bank stance, they want the employment to be high and they want inflation to be in line with expectations as well. So they want inflation to go up. So this CPI number are in the short term, because our inflation is so low, so they want it to be between 2 to 3%. So CPI will be important. And then we have RBA Governor Lau speaking. Again, anytime there's a central banker speaking, that will be important. Then we have on Wednesday preliminary GDP number, which will be important here. So big one here this week is the FOMC statement. We are not looking for an interest rate hike this time. It's expected to stay the same. And normally it will be September where the market is expecting the interest rate hike to come in, if it does come in. But again, anytime FOMC comes out, this is very, very important, and we can expect a lot of market volatility. I do not recommend trading during news time. You could, of course, there are different strategies that you can use. You can use bracket orders and pending orders for breakout trades, but generally there is increased volatility during news time. So you have to be careful, especially with the important news like the central banks, FOMC. So core durable goods and unemployment claims, of course, will be important, because if Fed says yes, they're going to continue on with their with raising rates as they have said before, then these data points become very, very important for that. And Friday we have GDP numbers for the Canadian dollar, as well as advanced GDP for the US. So the critical news really is the central bank news that we have, the CPI numbers, the RBA here, as well as the FOMC. All right, so let's move on to the charts now. So in terms of euro, so euro is bullish, even though Draghi tried to be dovish on that, because what they said was they're going to look at monetary policy in autumn, which is fall, which is we're looking at like September, October time. So that's what he said, and that's why the market is expecting. So what they have been doing, this asset purchase program, for a long period of time now, and it's time to kind of start basically taking it away. So basically they're pumping money into the economy, and now it's time for them to start reducing that asset purchase programs. If they do that, that means less money in the economy, which means euro will be more expensive. So less supply, more demand, that type of scenario. So if that happens, that will be bullish for euro. And as well, in terms of the US, the numbers have not been coming up as well as we were expecting, or Fed was expecting. And even in Yellen's testimony, it was not as they were concerned. The Fed was concerned about the data that's coming out. So as a result, US dollar is not as bullish as it normally would be. And also with President Trump, there's been a lot of negative. There have been scandals and negative press and stuff like that. So, and we haven't seen any kind of reforms that were talked about before that the market was counting on. As a result of that, all of that just together puts a negative impact on the US dollar. So as a result, it is not as bullish. All right, so let's take a look at our our support and resistance. So we're looking at a weekly chart. I always like to start off with a weekly chart when we start the week off. So let's take a look. So in terms of long-term perspective on dollars, I think unfortunately America is losing the faith of many nations. As a result of that, from a longer-term perspective, I think we may see other currencies go up just from our trading perspective. So the market is a little bit concerned currently about the situation in the US and just not having clear direction and focus on the things that were promised. As a result of that, that is not positive. Anytime there is political uncertainty in any place, just like we saw with French elections, Brexit, and all of that, it will have a negative impact on the currency. So from longer term perspective, also we are seeing a lot of digital currencies coming up in the market. All of that will put pressure on US dollar being the reserve currency. So we may start seeing kind of money flowing out of the US dollar and into other things. So I think that's just my opinion though. That's where my long-term perspective I feel for the US dollar. But again, things can change, because if circumstances change, of course, we will see things change as a result of that. All right, so let's take a look at Euro US dollar weekly here. Very, very strong weekly candle. We saw this the last couple of weeks. We're pushing into it. We were looking for bullish euro from last week, and now, as we can see, it has come up and it is bullish now. Now we're looking for price to pull back and then go up further. So we are bullish on Euro US dollar. But prior to that, because we have made a bit of a move up here, and we could see one of these type of moves. So we are looking for a pullback first and then a further move to the upside. But overall, I'm bullish on the euro. So the target here from weekly perspective is 1.1850 right over here. So that's kind of what we're looking at. So that's up there. But do keep in mind that we could get a pullback. So my pullback level I'm looking at is 1.1580, or we could even get deeper. If we were to get a deeper pullback, we may be looking at 1.1550 level. So 50 to 80-ish level is what I'm looking for, a potential pullback, and then a further move to the upside. So let's take a quick look at the daily. We have broken, we saw a pullback. See, this is the type of move I'm looking at. Price moves up, pulls back, does another move up, then pulls back into this level, holds above, and then goes on further. So that's what we are looking at for euro dollar. So bullish. Pound here, pound is slightly different because we did see the big move up. We have pulled back deeper. Now, pound is being impacted, or again, we'll see Brexit talks coming into more of the forefront. As a result of that, we may see pressure on the pound. So this one is not as bullish as ECB, even though Bank of England is actually, they are not completely hawkish, but they are hawkish overall. So their stance is changing as well, just like RBA, Bank of Canada. Well, Bank of Canada has already started the interest rate hikes, ECB. So all these central banks, they're all kind of in the same boat where they are positive or hawkish in terms of where things are going, reducing monetary policy. But with this one, Brexit will be a concern. So in this case, this is where we are. Let me just remove that one there. This is our daily. So we are pulling back. So going back to the weekly here, as we can see, we have seen a move up and now we have seen a pullback. But so this one, for now, I am neutral on. I'm not completely bullish. I think more of the Brexit concerns will come into play in this one. So I am neutral on this. We can go either way. So depending on how US dollar performs, this will be impacted by that. But overall, I think it'll be overshadowed by Brexit. So in that, having said that, what are we looking for in terms of our moves, right? So here we are. We may see price go up here. If it rejects here, then we're likely to see it break lower. So the move that I would be looking for in this one that we're likely to see is price goes up, comes back down. So this is the critical level here, 129.30. What happens here? So we may see price go up, come down, and then do one of these moves. If the Brexit concerns really start to come into play, this is the type of behavior I am looking for. However, if the Brexit, let's say the US dollar, for example, takes a hit, rumors come out, comments come out, all that kind of stuff, FOMC is not hawkish, it's dovish, then we could see this break up higher. Again, a pullback into this level, which is 130.50 level, and then another move to the upside. So this one I'm neutral on, and I'm keeping my options open. So I'm going to mark these levels on my charts and see how price behaves. Markets, of course, dynamic, so we'll have to adjust to that. So from weekly perspective, again, neutral. Even though we are seeing a bearish candle, it's not a bearish engulfing. See how we saw a bullish and then a pullback, and then we saw price go a little bit deeper and then moved back up. So this one, price has pulled back. It could go deeper, which is the next level that we have marked, and then it could go up higher. So I'm open to both directions in that. Aussie has been very bullish. So weekly close is bullish, even though we did see a pullback the other day. So now we are looking for, okay, so this is what we have. So the next target level, we can get rid of this. So here, this is where we are. We can pull this back a little bit. It is bullish, but a little bit of a pullback here as well. So that gives us a bit of a neutral stance. So we'll say bullish to neutral on Aussie dollar. We do have RBA, we have the central banker speaking as well, which of course will have an impact on this. So what can we expect in this one? two different scenarios. This will be, we may see one of these. So price go into 0.7990 level, so the high here, and it could pull back. And in that case, so we'll be looking for a daily close to see how market kind of closes. Again, because with all these US pairs, we have FOMC this week, so things could change completely based on what FOMC comes out as. So with this one, first thing will be to watch out for double top. If that happens, if we don't see, if price, let's say, pullbacks and then goes back up again, then we're looking for bullish. So overall, I am bullish to neutral on this, slightly neutral because there's a big pin, but overall it is bullish. So here we are. We could see a pullback into this level and then a move to the upside. And if we were to zoom out a little bit, because we are quite far away from price here, see this support and resistance level, price is there. So it had pulled back into that. It could do a deeper pullback. This is where we are currently, way back there. So we could go even deeper into this previous level. So that's where our previous level was, where price had reacted and then pushed through. So we could see price pull back into this level and then go up higher. So it is, overall bias is bullish on that too. Here's our New Zealand dollar. I had marked up this chart. So let me just open a new chart. So we have a clean chart here. New Zealand. Any questions so far while I'm opening the chart here? Thank you, Greg. Midterm for Australia. Australia's central bank has turned, it has turned hawkish. So they may start. So now Bank of Canada has already started raising rates. So the commodity currencies, we may start seeing RBA sort of follow the same path as well. Although RBA has, or Australia has, a higher interest rate than Canada does at the moment, but so they are kind of aligned. So we may see in the midterm, we may see bullishness out of Australian dollar as well. So this is our New Zealand dollar, very, very bullish close. So we are bullish, very bullish close. So here we are, bullish close. We are into resistance though, so that's something we have to watch out for. The next target would be 7,600 for New Zealand dollar. So 7,600, it will be the next target. We are bullish on this one. So looking for a further move to the upside in terms of the pullback, we could see a pullback either into 73.60 level. So this one right here, the top here, or into 7,400. So the move would be pullback and then further move to the upside. But based on the weekly candle close, that is very bullish. Let's go closer a little bit into the price here. This is where we are. We are into resistance. So price, we need to see the price break above this level here, and then we could see a pullback and then a further move to the upside. So we are looking for either a pullback here and move up, or into this level and further move to the upside. So this is bullish. Dollar CAD here, we've been bearish on dollar CAD for a while here, and it has been going lower. So last week we were bearish on this and it pulled back and moved lower. So now we are looking for a further move to the downside. Now do keep in mind that we are coming into support here. So this is going to be important support, 124.60 level here. Because we haven't been here since March of last year. So this is very, very, very important support. See how we had moved down so much and then price had bounced off of this level. Now we have had this big straight drop in dollar CAD. And now we are coming into a major support level. So I would say be cautious at 124.63. I am looking for further move to the downside. So the target here would be 124.63. So something like this, looking into this level. And this is where we have to watch out, because we could get we could get a bullish daily close, and then price could start moving up higher. And of course, keeping in mind FOMC, that could happen. So that is a possibility. So this is where we are, very strong close here. So looking for further downside, this is where we are. And our pullback level, we are looking at that. So if we were to draw it out, like that, 125.80 is a potential pullback level, and then looking to go to 124.60. And this here, we could do a double bottom. If that happens, then we would get a bullish close on the day, or price may just kind of hang around here. So we may see price kind of stall. But from here, we had a big push up. And if FOMC comes in bullish, we could get that big push to the upside, just like we got here. But for now, we have had a large move to the downside. So it does make sense that we would come into support. So again, bearish on this one till 124.60, and that's where we'll have to see what happens. If FOMC comes out negative, dovish, then this will, of course, it can blow right through. So our next target will be 12300, which is right over here. So that will be our final target for the week, 12300. But 124.60 is a substantial support level. So do keep that in mind. And once price gets there, we'll have to see how our daily close happens. And if it's bullish, we'll have to go with that. Okay, so that's all the US crosses. So let's have a quick look at the yen crosses right now. So we have, this is Euro Yen. Euro Yen is currently range bound. This is our weekly. For last 2 weeks, it has been range bound. It hasn't broken out of this range. And when things become range bound, we only have two options. Either they stall, so we have a bullish move, it will go sideways like that, and then make the next leg up higher, or it will go it will come down. So those are the two options we have. So this, we are neutral. It's range bound. In that case, we are looking to sell at 130.80. That's what I'm going to be watching for. If price comes up to 130.80 level, I am looking for a potential selling opportunity. If it comes into 128.50 level, then I'm looking for a potential buying opportunity till it breaks out of the range. And when that happens, then we are looking in the direction that it breaks out. If it breaks out to the downside, we're looking for a follow through in that direction. But again, I would wait for price to have a clean breakout, pull back into that level, hold above, and then go up higher. For now, I'm just looking to sell at the high and buy at the bottom. Let's look at pound yen here. Pound yen, yes, as I said, pound has been weaker compared to the euro, and as a result, we have seen price drop. So this is quite bearish here. That's a very bearish close, and this is what I was talking about euro yen as well. So we were in this range. It's the same way with Euro Yen. We are in this range for a couple of weeks, and then we had a big close to the downside. Euro Yen hasn't done that. Pound Yen has already done that. So we are bearish on this, and we are looking for price to continue down further. And the level that, let's mark out the level, next level. So we have this inefficient move open here now. So we could see price, we're looking for price to come down into this level. So this is 141.60 area. So that will be the target to the downside. And the type of move we could look for will be price pulls back up into 145.28-ish or 20-ish area, and then a drop further. This is a very nice solid weekly close on the pound. So let's go, this is where we are. So we may see price pull back, like I said. When prices drop, like when price moves this much, we could see a pullback. So 145.20, this level right here would be a potential level for a pullback. Then we are looking for a move like this. Essentially, this is our target. 141.60 will be our target to the downside. If it doesn't go as far as that, we could move this right into here as well. I do like on the daily, I like this support as well. So this is 142.50 level. So that will be the first target, and we can use the second one. So 141.50. So let's do that. So we can have this as the second target. 142.50 as the first one, 141.50 as the second one. Let's take a look at dollar yen. Bearish close. This was the first one to turn here. We saw bearish close for the week and then a follow through. So now based on this, we're looking for a further move to the downside. In this case, a potential pullback level would be 111.50 and then moving further down into 110.20 level. Let's take a look at the daily here. Oops. Here's the daily, so this is where it was stuck. So on Thursday night when we did the analysis for our trade room, we were looking at a very neutral candle close here. So there was no direction, but now we have seen an actual break of the level here. So now that this level has broken, that gives us a bearish bias. And then we are looking for a pullback and looking for a drop into 110.60 and potentially into 110.20. So 110.60 will be the first target and 110.20 will be the second target to the downside, but it certainly looks bearish at the moment. So then we have, let's take a look at Euro Swiss franc. So Swiss franc is another one where it has been strong. So this one here is very neutral close. So from a weekly perspective, it's very neutral. And as we can see, based on the daily here as well, it's trading in a range. So again, the same thing as Euro Yen here, we are looking for a potential selling opportunity at 1.107580-ish level. And we're looking for a potential buying opportunity at 1.0980 level. So this is a range. So while price trades in this range, those are the two levels we'll be looking to buy or sell from. Once it breaks out on either side and stays below that, and we will continue in that direction. Let's take a look at pound Swiss. Pound Swiss has been bearish. Looking at the weekly close, that's a big bearish candle close. So we're looking for continuation in that. Sorry, Greg, were you talking about Euro Swiss or Pound Swiss? A break in which one? No, we don't count the wick in terms of the close. I'm looking for a close outside of this. The wicks don't count. See, we can have as many wicks as we like, and then wicks actually show rejection. So if there's wick, what happens is there are lots of orders. So if you take a look at from market perspective, all these people that are looking for this range bound move here, they have placed their orders, stop orders right up there. So what market makers tend to do is push the price up, gather all those orders, and then pull the price back in. That's why we don't want to trade just because it has popped out. So we want to see a daily close on the outside, then a pullback. I want to see a hold above this, and this is where once you can go on a smaller time frame, an hour or something, and then make sure the price is staying above for it to follow through. Otherwise, we can have one of these. See all these wicks. Markets, basically market makers are goading people to take those breakout trades, but they don't, right? But they're not really moving the price up higher. They're just looking for price to come back. So that's why we don't want to get caught up in this type of wicks kind of trade. Okay, so looking at pound Swiss franc here, very bearish. And in terms of pullback, I would put this 123.7480-ish level as a potential pullback level. If it doesn't pull back that much into 123 40, so 50-ish level for a pullback, and then looking for this level here, 122.15 or 20 level. Now, again, we are getting into a bit of we're coming into support now. And once we start coming into a daily support that we haven't visited since March, so that will be an important, so this is the move I'm watching. So this will be an important support level, and we'll have to see how price reacts here. If we get a daily bullish close, then we would get a double bottom situation, or we may just see price kind of closing like this. We may see multiple wicks to the downside or indecision candles. Then market direction can change, and we'll wait for a bullish close. Or in the opposite direction, like this here, we're looking for a solid candle close. I'd be looking for a solid candle close below this, and then the next target will be this. So let me just draw the support and resistance here. So the next target in that case, once we see a break, would be into this level here. So 121.80 level. So that will be the next target. First one, 122.20, and then 121.80. And next one, let's take a look at Euro Aussie. This has been my favorite pair to trade. We took multiple trades in the trade room in this one. So this is what I was talking about, where once price in the trade room, we had said we had a trade actually right into this 144.50 level. So this is 144. It came all the way into 144.20. The profit target was 144.50, and then it turned around. And it turned around right when the central bank ECB came out, and they were hawkish on that, and we had discussed that in the trade room. So this is the type of behavior we are looking for. So now we are bullish on Euro Aussie. So Euro Aussie last week we were bearish on it because we had a big close, and we were looking for price to come back down, and now we have a bullish hammer. A bullish pin bar here, and as a result we are bullish on this. So as we can see, price has closed up higher. Any of these dollar CAD that we looked at, and I think pound Swiss, we need to see a bullish daily close, like some sort of a bullish engulfing candle or a bullish close, and then we'll look for a follow through to the upside. So this was very, very good trade. Now we are bullish. The next target will be, so first we'll be right into here, 147 or 14800. If the price does not break that level, or right into this one level too, 147.80 level, if the price does not break this level, it could turn around. But euro fundamentally is strong, and which means that we could continue along those lines, unless whole Brexit things comes out again and euro gets impacted. Usually it's the pound that gets impacted more by that. So in this case, looking for a pullback potentially into this level, or even into this one here, which is 146.60ish or 50 level. Looking for a pullback, further move up. First target would be 147.80, then another pullback, and looking into 149.00 to the upside. So this is bullish now. All right, so that's all I have. Any questions or comments? Aussie CAD. Aussie CAD is not something I trade very much, so let me see if I have a chart for it. Oh, you know what? Somebody had asked about gold too. Okay, I will. Okay, so let's pull up an Aussie CAD chart. Actually, I could have done that from there. Thanks, Francois. Here we go. We are looking at, oh, this is a big rejection, Aussie CAD. Canadian dollar, because they have hiked their rates already, is bullish. So let's take a look here. Okay, so based on this, I would say this looks bearish to me from a weekly perspective because there's a big rejection here. So in this case, unless RBA comes right out and and they start talking about raising rates, then this could change because we do have RBA central banker speaking this week. But from purely from technical perspective, this looks bearish to me. So even though the candle close here, we have bullishness in the candle, but overall, though, this wick is a big rejection. So going down to the daily here, as we can see, we had a neutral. This looks very much like the pound. I think it was pound yen that we had looked at. So we had a new, was it pound yen? Dollar yen, sorry, my apologies. So dollar yen, it looks just like that, very, very neutral close. And now we have a bearish close, which means we're looking for a further move. So we may see a pullback into 99.68-ish area and then looking for further move to the downside. 98.50-ish will be the first target, and then second target would be 97.80 level. So that's the type of move I would anticipate. I was get. Oh, you know what? There's no particular reason why I don't trade it. It's just they're just commodity currencies. So I like to trade risk currencies versus commodity currencies, and it doesn't matter. There's no real reason why I don't trade it. It's just there's so many pairs to pick from. I find the spreads tend to be higher in some of these currencies, so I like to not trade too many pairs. I don't take a ton of trades because every time any additional trade you're taking, you're adding risk to it. So I just pick one or two pairs that I think have clear direction in, and then I will take a trade in that. So no big reason. Aussie cat, comparing Aussie cat to gold and gold versus oil, I don't trade those either, Francois. I used to trade gold all the time. And then I used to trade oil all the time, but I don't trade them against I don't know if there is even a cross, but I don't trade them as much as I used to. There was a time when I was only trading gold. Well, let's take a look at gold. I always have gold and oil on my charts. We are looking at a very bullish close on gold, which means we are looking for a further move to the upside. First target is 1281.20. So it's at 1250 right now. So and the next one will be 1295.50. So those are the two levels to the upside. And in terms of our pullback, let's see, pullbacks could be into 1241.40. So the move, if we were to draw it out, like this, see this pin here, we're looking for another pin and then looking for a further move to the upside here. So again, bullish 1281, first target 1295, the second target to the upside. And if you take a look at the daily, here we are looking quite bullish here. So once the price breaks this level, 1258 level, we are likely to see price go up higher. So those are the levels. But then see how this is the big, where I was talking about a couple of those charts, that dollar CAD and pound Swiss, we were looking, we could get one of these moves, right? So the higher it moves up there, we are likely to see that. Again, FOMC this week. So this gets impacted by FOMC for sure. Gold will get impacted. If FOMC comes out negative, gold will go up. If FOMC comes out positive, gold will drop. So it's just inverse relationship to the US dollar. And let's take a quick look at oil. Oh, I don't have a good oil chart. Okay. I don't think I have. Every time I shut my computers down, my old charts pop up. So all right, any questions? Anything else before we call it a wrap? I think we have gone on for quite some time today. Perfect. So I think that's it. So let's call it a wrap. You guys have a wonderful trading week coming up, and I will see you on, I'll see you next weekend then.